Kanye West posted screenshots to Instagram saying that he is prepared to, quote, go to war with Kim Kardashian over the naming rights to his own children. We're not talking about albums or the Yeezy brand. We're not talking about Kim's reality show or her makeup. We're talking about a mom and dad fighting over who gets to control the trademark to their own kids' names. This is some rich people shit, man. This is all coming to light after a dispute about Northwest or Northwest's name being involved in a Diddy song. Kanye posted screenshots of texts along with a little tidbit of information stating that Kim Kardashian is the sole and exclusive owner of all their kids' names, and specifically Northwest, who is now approaching the age where she's making music and content and about to start her own career. So Kanye found out that him using his own daughter's name and likeness is in violation of the divorce agreement and is illegal under federal law. Once he discovered this, he texted Kim saying he would never speak to her again, to which Kim explained that she filed the trademark for all their kids with the understanding that the name of ownership and likeness would be transferred to them at age 18, and that only one person can file the trademark, so that she handled it so no one could swipe them. And now it's unclear exactly what the Diddy song was and how North was involved, but I would say that's some pretty solid reasoning for mom there. Like, right now, if it was up to Kanye, he would probably drop a new Diddy song featuring Northwest while she models the new line of Schustaffel gear as the head of the SS. Like, swastikas for the summer! So I think it's probably best to let mom handle their business until they're officially adults. Now, Kanye said he will go to war and that neither of them will survive the public fallout before saying, quote, "You're gonna have to kill me." Yeah, you better be careful how loud he says that, because Kris Jenner is listening. She's at home reading those texts saying, "Don't tempt me, motherfucker." The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. Keeps messing around with her grandkids, aka her new moneymakers. Kris will do whatever it takes to remedy that situation. A roof collapsed at a St. Patrick's Day college party in Pittsburgh. 16 people were taken to the hospital. 3 had major injuries. 13 had minor injuries. However, everybody survived. So as per the guidelines and regulations of Section 317 of Al Gore's Internet Rulebook, we're allowed to watch this video and make fun of the situation and not feel guilty about it. Now, if you're an Italian or a member of the tribe or someone who's not too familiar with St. Paddy's Day celebrations, let me just break down the type of anarchy we're talking about. Because if you grew up on the East Coast, it's a month-long extravaganza. The first weekend of March is Hoboken St. Patrick's Day. The following weekend, you go to the University of Scranton in Pennsylvania or Long Beach on Long Island. And that's all followed up by the official parade in New York City. When I was 18, I was in the parade with a bunch of FDNY guys in their uniform, and let me just tell you, you have never seen a man wield more power than a firefighter in uniform on St. Patrick's Day in Manhattan. They could go anywhere, do anything, free drinks, you had chicks making out together just to put the hat on, the whole nine. It was crazy. And then you round out the month with RBC Irish Day back on Long Island, because the Irish treat this day like a girl treats their birthday. It's a whole month-long fiasco. And I grew up in the sweet spot where these parties reached the pinnacle of their absurdity right before they began cracking down on them. In 2012, Hoboken, which is like the elite of elite St. Patrick's Day celebrations, they permanently banned the entire event due to safety concerns. The sheer amount of piss was enough, if you ask me, but they had people pissing, fighting, blacking out, arrests. They had enough mischief for the year in one day. They were charging $2,000 per person for intoxication, open container, or public urination. And they were doing like 500 citations a day. So we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars just off of open bottles and pissing in the streets. And so while a lot of that anarchy may have calmed down, 2025 provided us with an old school throwback of St. Patrick's Day calamity content with this Pittsburgh roof collapsing. Because it's the perfect example of an incident under the umbrella of this is how white people die. Ordinarily, we're like jumping off of rocks into the ocean, or skiing and base jumping, or we have like monkeys and snakes as pets and we're fucking around with exotic animals. Those are usually the things we do where white people die. And this is like a subgenre of that. Dumb college kids who almost die and who should die. I mean, the fact that nobody ended up dead here is crazy. Particularly this kid right here. He just gets flattened by a roof. Flat Stanley, bro. He's the Wicked Witch of the East. Like, you take off his boat shoes and his legs just shrivel up and he disappears. And this is also a good example of how I know that I'm washed, because I took one look at this and I said, that is entirely too many children on that roof. And like looking at it, there's probably like 20 people up there. And if I was 25 years old, I'd be like, damn, man, I wish I was up on that roof. And at the age of 40, I'm like, are these pillars weight bearing? Is this roof up to code? Has the landlord done regular maintenance on this roof? Because there's probably water damage. There's probably wood rot. There's decay. It's certainly not a healthy enough roof to put 20 people on it. And it's a good reminder that college kids, they actually are impervious. And the people who live their life healthy and smart and they don't take any risks, they'll probably be the ones who end up dead because that's the way life goes. Like, this dude gets crushed underneath the roof plus 25 people on top of that, and he's totally fine. You want to know why? Because he's drinking whatever the fuck is in there. So happy St. Patrick's Day, kids. Stay safe, and if you get crushed by a roof, don't worry, you'll probably be all right. Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, posted this series of pictures on Instagram of her and Bill doing things like couples yoga and gymnastics poses with the caption, #spring break, #still got it, #us time. This is Bill goddamn Belichick, folks. This is the guy who survived off of water, oxygen, and Lombardi trophies, and now he's out here like, Grandpa stay. It's insanity. Bro, if she says she's on spring break, she's too young for you, bro. And I mean that for people who are like in their 30s and 40s, not if you're 70 fucking 5. I don't think Bill Belichick even knows what spring break is. I don't think spring break existed when Bill Belichick was younger. And I know that we've fully established that there's a 50-year age difference, but these pictures really just solidified it, you know? I mean, I guess you got to give this girl credit, though. She does not seem to care that he is 50 years her senior. She does not seem to care that he's got the saggy boobs and the wrinkled balls. We are well beyond all that. I think we're at the point where she might be on the sidelines with him at UNC. You give that girl a headset, and she might be Bill's offensive coordinator, because there is nothing more offensive than the fact that that girl lets that man put it in. I will say, not bad for a 72-year-old. I'm 40. I can't even get out of bed. Bill's out here stunting in the sand, leg almost fully extended, holding on long enough for the iPhone countdown to run its course to get the perfect shot. And let me just say, we're at a point in time as society that we have to acknowledge the power of the pussy is truly just the most dominant force on the planet Earth. It's the most powerful substance in the universe. It's like supernovas, black holes, whatever Jordan Hudson keeps in her jeans. Because if this chick can have Bill Belichick doing cutesy photos on Instagram that's like Pilates and yoga and gymnastics, like literally anything's possible. Any woman on the planet can get any man to do anything if this can happen. Remember, this man cared nothing else, nothing else mattered except football his entire life until a couple years ago. I don't even think he valued his own life over football. He didn't know anything, couldn't talk about anything. He didn't experience anything other than football. And now he's doing Eat, Pray, Love on the beach like it's how Stella got her groove back. And it's all because it allows him to bang this girl. It's the most powerful bang since the Big Bang that created the universe. Former NBA player Brian Scalabrine showed up to The Cage on West 4th Street in New York City, where George the Messiah, a legendary street baller, plays every day. They played one-on-one, and things got ugly fast. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, George the Messiah is this old-ass looking dude who hoops at the same court every day in New York City. He's Instagram famous. He's a street ball legend. He's an asshole. I mean, he calls himself the Messiah. He just bullies people and pushes them around and then screams, "I'm here in New York City," but it plays well on the internet, and he usually beats everybody he plays. But this time, he bit off more than he could chew when he was asked the question, could you beat an NBA player?
Yeah, you think you can beat an NBA player, bro?
Why not, man? I come out of West Forest University.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
And he said, why not? And it turns out that an NBA player saw the video and accepted the challenge. That former NBA player being Brian Scalabrine. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Scals, and it makes me sick to think that there are people out there young enough to be unfamiliar with Scalabrine, he is the White Mamba. Scal is best known for dominating people who talk shit from their couch. He ran something called the Scallenge over a decade ago because he was the lowest ranked player in NBA 2K, and everyone used to make fun of him because he was white and goofy and a ginger, and so the challenge was simple. He said, if you think you can beat an NBA player, step up to the court. And they did, and he absolutely dominated a bunch of clowns who thought that they could take on a professional. And then he delivered one of the coldest quotes of all time. He said, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. Fast forward to 2025, Scals comes out of retirement. He let the Messiah know that he was going to pull up to the West 4th, and pull up he did. All 6'9", 236 pounds of him. 236, Brian? Yeah, in your bra. And to say that it got awkward and ugly is an understatement. Elbows were flying, cheap shots. George launched the ball down the block. It was like the WWE meets street ball. And if you're wondering who won, spoiler alert, Scalabrine did. If you ever had this hypothetical in your head, put it to bed. No matter how old someone is, no matter how white they are, no matter how long they've been out of the game, you ain't beating an NBA player. It's not even like Scal was a bad player. He amassed like $30 million playing professional ball, and there are regular-ass people who think they can beat him. Imagine if you found out that there was a lawyer who made $30 million. Would you think you could ever beat him in the courtroom simply because you watch a lot of courtroom dramas? Or like there's a surgeon who makes $30 million, but you think he sucks because he doesn't look like Clooney when you're watching ER on your couch. There's like 400 total people in the NBA. And it's even less than that, the guys who had like a 10-year career. Out of 8 billion people on the planet. And there's a bunch of guys who played men's league in the 92nd Street Y, and they think they can beat him because he's white. The irrational confidence is absolutely insane. White Mamba for life. The New York Post is reporting that Canada may have stumbled upon their own secret nuclear option to combat the trade war with Donald Trump and the United States. The idea is the brainchild of funny man Matthew Pujitsky, who posted in a now viral Instagram video saying that the one way for Canada to harm the United States is to deploy cyber warfare in the form of banning Pornhub in America.
Keep going. All right, here's one. Pornhub. That's Canadian? Yep, Pornhub is Canadian. You're telling me we had a nuke this whole time and no one told me about it?
If you didn't know, Pornhub is owned by the Canadians. I know, it's crazy. It's like finding out that Pat Riley owns the trademarks of the term three-peat. It's like, how the hell did we let this happen? So it's not US made. However, the Post reported that it gets 3 million views per month from the horniest Americans, and I will take the over on that. And while Pornhub is not the only porn site out there, obviously, it's a part of all the normal people's routines. You know, it's brand loyalty. It's like Coke over Pepsi or Nike over Adidas. It's Pornhub over all the other tubes and all the other hubs. And now, originally, this was meant to be a joke, but a real petition has actually been launched urging Canadian authorities to block Pornhub as a, quote, peaceful yet powerful response to the trade dispute. Not since Gandhi and MLK has a peaceful protest been this powerful. I would rather go on a hunger strike like my man Mahatma did before I give up the hub. 30 days without food would be a lot easier than 30 days without hearing that boom, ba-dum, boom. I was in Texas for a week. They made you start a login if you wanted to do your standard perusing. I couldn't do it. I ended up spending like $300 on OnlyFans. It was a disaster. I mean, the economic impact alone would be seismic, let alone the mental anguish. It's really not the craziest idea in the world, because if there's one thing you know about Trump, it's that if the American people feel like they're going to lose something, he's going to want to take credit for being able to keep it. Same thing happened with another app. Remember TikTok? People wanted their TikTok. He made sure that that app stayed available in the United States. Same goes for the horny people, man. They need their porn, and you can bet their bottom dollar they're going to fight for it. Canada would have all the leverage in the world if the American people were going through withdrawals and trying to get their fix. Trump would have no choice. He'd have no choice but to let them remain a country, maybe even trade them the Gulf of America in exchange for a lifetime contract with the hub. And to date, it seems like the Canadians are not taking this seriously. They've only generated a few dozen signatures, which is kind of proof positive that they should just be the 51st state. It's like this brilliant idea is staring them right in the face, and they aren't taking advantage of it. The Four Nations tournament and Pornhub are about the only thing Canada has going for them. I suggest you lean into it. $50 million in a settlement to a customer after the lid popped open immediately after getting his drinks at the drive-thru. Here's the video.
Handoff of hot drinks at Starbucks forever changed delivery driver Michael Garcia's life. This is security camera video from the drive-thru, a tray full of coffees landing in his lap. His trial attorney says a barista failed to fully push the lid onto one cup. The scalding hot drink spilled into his lap, severely burning and damaging his genitals for life.
Starbucks says if our hands are off the drink, then no matter what happens, we're not responsible. So if I'm Starbucks and I hand you a drink that doesn't have a lid that's secured and it's a scalding hot 180-degree drink, or if I hand you a drink that's in a container and it's loose and it's not secured and it falls right on you the moment that I take my hands off of it, then you're responsible and I, the corporation, am not.
First of all, that video is hysterical. I know bro code should tell me that I have some sympathy because this man just lost his ball sack, but him writhing in agony, driving away from the window is tense. Secondly, what a dream. I mean, I lay in bed at night thinking about things like this, getting hit by a New York City taxi or an MTA bus or falling through the grates in the sidewalk over the subway. Enough that I'm seriously injured, but not maimed for life. And I make some headlines and I just sue the shit out of the city. And the only thing better than that is catching a multi-billion-dollar corporation slacking where they just open up their slush fund and they just pay you to go away. So delivery driver Michael Garcia underwent skin grafts and other procedures after scalding hot, venti-sized Starbucks beverage completely drenched his crotch area back in February. The tea was so hot that the injuries were deemed permanent and life-changing. That's what his attorney said. You can see in the video that the tea spills all of this guy's ball sack, and the pain is like next level excruciating. He doesn't even stick around. Instant kicks in, and he just bounces. And props to him, by the way, because even though his ball sack was most likely peeling off, he knew that nobody likes the guy who's holding up the line. So props to him, because even though his testicles were literally melting, he still had the presence of mind to not inconvenience anybody else. Now, obviously, Starbucks is not happy. They put out a statement saying they don't think this outcome was fair. They said that at the end of the day, once we give you your order, it's your responsibility. Quote, we disagree with the jury's decision that we were at fault for this incident and believe the damages awarded to be excessive, company spokesperson wrote. Quote, we have always been committed to the highest safety standards in our store, including the handling of hot drinks. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Because why do you serve your coffee cup at 200 degrees then? It's just simply too hot. The reason why this is even a thing is because the coffee is near boiling. If you have to put the coffee cup condom over the cup so you can even hold it, if you can't drink it for the first like 30 minutes, it's simply too hot. And there's a reason why these things happen. There's a reason why, if you're my age, from my generation, this brings back memories. This happened back in the 90s with a girl from New Mexico who spilled a McDonald's coffee in her lap, and she was awarded $3 million because they said the coffee was simply too hot. It was so crazy they turned it into a Seinfeld episode. Kramer spilled coffee on his lap. He linked up with Jackie Childs. He sued, and even though he was about to win millions of dollars, he accepted their first offer of coffee for life. There's a reason why this exists in the world and in pop culture. It's because the drinks are too goddamn hot. So it begs the question, would you sign up for this? This guy's testicles are most likely gone. His shaft is probably super weird now, but in exchange, $50 million. So no testicles and one weird shaft in exchange for 50 M's. Would you do it? Sound off in the comments below.
It's that time again. Pop up on your screen. It's the 1 minute man. Y'all know what I mean? The boy KFC. We ain't talking about the chicken. A minute go by and the clock be ticking. Hot takes with stakes. Greatest in all the land. Don't blink, you'll miss it. It's the 1 minute man.